You guys know the scene in Lord of the Rings where so you have the Ents, right? These like slow-moving tree guys, and the hobbits want them to go help them fight the battle, right? And so they have the gathering, and all the Ents come together, and hello. So that tree comes out and says, okay, we've made a decision. You are not orcs. And they're like, oh, what the hell is this? Like, you've been out there for hours, right? So that was going to be an amazing clip to kind of set the stage of standards groups. Thank you. Okay, so standards are slow, right? We all know that. I'm not hurting anybody's feelings by saying that. It's a intentionally slow process to make sure things get right, but they are painfully slow. The quest that I'm currently talking about today is quality of experience metrics. So this has become a hot topic recently because there's so many groups out there now tracking metrics, and they're becoming more and more important, and people want to start to see the same metrics across all the different platforms, whether it's like you're watching it on a TV or on the web or on a mobile device. You want to be able to compare the metrics across all of those devices, and today you can't. Today people track things very differently. Like if you're talking about rebuffering, like 3 different vendors will track that 3 different ways slightly. So enter standards. So let's talk about the groups that are currently involved. There's not just one standards group. There's a number of standards groups. So starting with the W3C. The World Wide Web Consortium, right? This is all the browser vendors, Microsoft, Google, a lot of smart standards people, and they do HTML. Next you have FOMS, the Foundations of Open Media. I kind of think of them as a little bit of a standards accelerator. So we had a FOMS right before Demuxed this last year. And it's basically, FOMS meets once a year and just tries to pound through some ideas around open media. And so standards like media source extensions, encrypted media extensions, WebVTT, all were started in FOMS, and then somebody took it on themselves to implement it, and they ultimately became a standard. So FOMS is a group that kind of gets together and talks about this stuff. And you should join it if you're interested. We'll probably have it next to Demuxed this year. Okay, CTA, Consumer Technology Association. This is the group behind CES, so the big electronics show in Las Vegas. This is the group that runs that show. And so the members of this group are basically anybody who's ever thought about going to CES. And then they have a whole standards body underneath that. Then you have the SVA, Stream Video Alliance. Okay, so the story behind the picture is I asked my team at the end of the day, give me some movie characters who are slow. And somebody said Rudy from Rudy. I don't know how it works, but I thought it was too ridiculous not to include. So SVA, not to be confused with AOM, the Alliance for Open Media, which is a different standards group, the one behind the new AV1 codec, if you're familiar with that. Not the same group. Yeah, in that group is a lot of the same characters, so Adobe, Comcast, Verizon, Ericsson, they're all in that group. Then you have the -IF, the Dynamic Adaptive Streaming over HTTP Industry Forum. This is not the group that creates the Dash format. This is the industry forum that gets together to talk about the format and then suggest changes to the Dash format. So this is a lot of the same characters, Akamai, Adobe, Microsoft, a bunch of other companies like that. And their goal is to push the standard forward, but to kind of come together as a group and make suggestions as the industry. They also created Dash.js, so that's been their big addition to the world, and it's like the most popular player for playing back Dash today. Okay, so running through the history of QE standards. Starting back in 2008, HTML5 video was introduced to the world. Really wasn't implemented until around 2009, 2010, but along with HTML5 video, we got some base level properties and events, so like when the video was started, when it started playing, some waiting installed events that allowed us to start tracking quality of experience. It wasn't perfect, not all the browsers track it the same way, but it was kind of like the start of everything. Then in 2010, at the FOMS in 2010, JW Player brought us the proposal for a set of quality of experience metrics that would kind of match what Flash had. So Flash actually has a lot of things in this category, and they wanted to be able to do the same stuff out of HTML5 video. And we were all excited. It all made sense. Like, yeah, let's move forward. You know, everybody, like Apple, Google were there. Michael Dale was there from Kaltura. Everybody excited that this made perfect sense. We all wanted these things, so let's move forward. And then nothing happened. And then from 2011 to 2015, nothing else really happened. Okay, then in 2016, we got two new proposals. So the -IF and the SVA, both independently, decided, hey, this is becoming a really big problem, that there's all these different metrics that people are tracking differently. We want the same thing. So they independently created their own proposals for what these standards could be. So great, we're at least picking up the conversation again. So then we took the -IF proposal to FOMS, the one that happened right before Demuxed, and introduced that to the same group of Google, Firefox, Apple, Netflix, YouTube, all of these guys, and everybody was excited again. It's like, yes, let's do these metrics. Then, at the same time, CTA and the SVA came together and decided, hey, let's work on this together, and decided the standard would live underneath the CTA. So they started working together, and -IF decided, hey, why don't we all work together and try and combine these proposals and move forward together. So we're all collaborating now, and that's pretty awesome. Let me take you through some of our most recent agendas. So in November, we decided, after an hour-long meeting, what the difference between QoS and QoE was. Which is, yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I'll tell you if you're interested. But in December, we decided to review the two proposals that had been produced. We were going to review them. That's what we decided at the beginning of December. In the middle of December, we had another meeting, but we decided to cancel it. Then in January, we decided to make a spreadsheet that compared the two proposals. Somebody, thank God, actually made that spreadsheet. At the end of January, just this morning, we got through 2 of the 21 metrics that had been proposed on there. So each of these are kind of like hour-long conversations, and this is as far as we've gotten so far. So next meeting, God willing, we'll get through the next 2 metrics. So yeah, all joking aside, this is like actually really important stuff and exciting that we're moving forward. It's going to move extremely slowly because it has to make sure that everybody's thinking through all the potential problems and all the edge cases that might come up, because after we get these things in place, it becomes very hard to change them. So what we need to do now is get people who know this stuff involved, people who know edge cases, who have specialties in like live video, real-time video, all the different angles of QoE metrics that might impact how we decide to define these things. Get those people involved. We need to start implementing as soon as possible to get these things in people's hands. Kind of like how Dash.js worked, like the power behind the Dash.if was that they started implementing something right away that people could use and start trying it out, and that really helped accelerate the standard forward. So we need to do something similar with our QoE metrics and then get people to test it out. So people in the community here, if you're interested in this and want to test out what we start implementing, it'd be great to get involved. So yeah, if you're interested in more, this is our group. The group name is R4WG20, so go ahead and memorize that. And check it out. Thanks a lot.